Yeah, as we are covering, music, art, and dance, I was in Bristol and it was the time of the Upfest Art Festival too. So, I catch a little of the artwork and had the opportunity to do some interview, but being a little bit busy with the schedule, I ended up missing two of the artists who were giving me an interview, and it was my fault really why I lost those two interviews, to get them live while they were doing the work. So I might do an online one with both of them. One of them I will see how it goes because they gave me the details and contacts and so forth still. So I had the opportunity to also speak with Steve, who is the founder of the festival. It's been going since 2008. So just enjoy this interview, see it for what it is, and also as a contribution, to the whole WOMAD tribute this weekend. Because as we say, we're dealing with music, arts, and dance. So yeah, man. So maximum respect to Steve and crew from the Upfest Festival Bristol, and look forward to some more. And it's all about connecting and networking and supporting. Yeah, man. So enjoy this interview, people, and the few little artwork that I was able to gather from around Bristol. All right, bless up. Yes, so this is your Soul's Liberation here for Tunes and a Talk, and I'm here chilling with Steve, the man behind the the Upfest Art Festival, and I just happened to be in Bristol, Bristol, being informed by a friend that the festival is going on, so I just took some time out, popped down, and I wouldn't even say coincidence, but I'm minding my own business, trying to get some food, pop out all day. And there was the man standing in front of Insane 51 artwork.
51, yeah, nice.
Because I had a chat with him, and we're gonna do a little online thing because he was actually doing his work. And the thing I love about it, before I even get into all of this, I spoke to two of the artists I've seen doing the work, and when I say I like the down to earth vibes and real people, and it's the same vibes I got off here because both artists were busy doing their stuff, but they took the time out. And had a proper conversation and didn't try to shrug off because they could have said, I'm busy, but they didn't. Yeah. So much respect to that still.
I think you get that with artists. They've got a certain soul, haven't they?
Yeah.
So and that's kind of what they're here for. Like at the moment, obviously we're doing a kind of festival, but we're doing like 75 walls over 75 days.
Yeah.
So it's not the crazy normal festival that we do, where we have like 400 artists all painting over a weekend.
Okay.
That is pretty mental.
Yeah.
But the thing about the festival is it's all then done live.
Yeah.
And it's that thing about being able to see how something's created, as opposed to just walking into a museum or gallery and everything's very stationary and stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna waffle.
I love that element. You see the person in action. But for myself and the viewers, just give me an insight. What prompted you, to get into all of this? What started it all?
I guess it was many worlds colliding at one point. So back in 2008. I've been made redundant a couple of times. I went to a couple of cool art shows in Bristol. I then took a trip to LA to see an art show by a Bristol artist called Nick Walker. And at the same time there was, I guess, an elevation of like, for years and years, there's been like gatherings of artists in like skate parks and stuff, having a bit of like, basically like paint jams and stuff. In 2008, there were a couple of sort of events, one by Banksy and another one I went to in Southampton, which were kind of sort of like smaller versions of what we're doing now. And I was trying to get involved in the art scene in Bristol, and like with all scenes, it can be a bit sort of clicky. So a friend of mine sort of said, "Oh, why don't you do something yourself?" And that's the start of everything, isn't it? So I'm one of these people that I have a lot of ideas, but if I say it out loud, then it usually happens. So if I want something to happen, I say it out loud, and therefore that's kind of so originally the first event was in 2008. We had like 50 artists, and we probably had 100 people come to watch. And that was at the Tobacco Factory in their courtyard. And then over the last sort of 13 years, the festival's kind of
just grow.
It's just grown. And like our last proper festival was was 2018. Because we took a fallow year like Glastonbury do, and we took that in 2019, and then obviously the last couple of years have been crazy for reasons that everybody knows. But but like 2018, we had 400 artists from 70 countries. And you know, multitude of styles, and and we had upwards of 50,000 people turn up, and we're out on the streets, and you've had a really nice, enjoyable, quiet sort of time now, but like the festival is just it's nuts.
Full on.
But you know, we're just making do with what we've got at the moment, and you know, really fortunate to be able to be repainting sort of 75 walls at the moment, which will bring our tally to probably almost 200 spots around this area that have got artwork on and that. So
because that's one of the things I want to get into also. Is it a case where people just literally come in and donate, you know, a space, or how does it go, you know?
That's kind of what they do. Like in the early years, it was quite challenging to get spaces because there was no reason. But as soon as we got a couple of pieces up and people were like, oh, okay, that's quite cool. Then their neighbours would then be like, oh, can you do our space? So for the first sort of 5 or 6 years, any spaces that were offered, we kind of we sort of went out and done, and then like now we get offered more spaces than we can afford to do. But we've kind of changed because in that first sort of 5 years we were kind of repainting a lot of the same spaces. Now it's all about growing the collection in effect, you know. So hence why we've got up to about 200 walls around the area, which with 200 pieces of artwork on. And sometimes we'll leave one of those for a couple of years, and we'll repaint a new one, and you know. So
just want to touch on Insane 51 Status artwork, you know, because that's a 3D piece.
It is,
you know, the interesting thing about it, I don't know what it'd be like if you actually have a 3D glasses, which is something you would recommend if someone has a 3D glasses. They'd have to wear that to see the real masterpiece. But it's not even wearing the 3D glasses for me does it, you know. It's knowing the intricacy of getting it done. To, you know, so that in itself is a true masterpiece. And I respect all the artwork I've seen so far, because everybody bring a different flavor and a taste to the table, and when it's boiled down, that's a nice stew, you know.
Everybody, like you know, people with different opinions of different artworks. But from my point of view, if somebody's prepared to put in the time and somebody sort of creates, then and they've got a space and a voice and stuff, then then it's that mix. And I kind of you know, when we do the festival, and even like the 75 walls, you know, we get artists to register for the festival, but we then have to go through a selection process. But it's not really a selection, it's kind of a selection process, but we try not to look at the artist's work. We try to give a real broad spectrum of styles. So we have like urban knitters, we have sculptors, we have abstract, you know. So and obviously traditional graffiti and stencil art and blah blah blah. So we try to get as broad a spectrum as possible, and then we try to include an inclusive kind of spectrum of people, you know, within that, you know. So hence, you know, if you're an artist applying for the festival from a country which hasn't been to the festival, we don't get many applications, then it doesn't really matter what you paint. It's kind of, you will be given a space, because we want to see people here from all around the world, and
I love that concept, man. You tell me that goose people come up on me, man, because that's what I realize. You know, I try to look at things from a more profound level, and it's like looking at the art and kind of analyzing the festival and hearing from other people. It gives me an idea what even your organization is about, and that's why, you know, I'll say it's a space created, like you actually create a space to give people the freedom. And just like you said, if an artist is from another world, another country, and he's never, you know, you still give he or she that space, and that brings, you know, a more community spirit to the thing again.
Definitely,
you know.
And I think for the artists that come to the festival, which, you know, the majority sort of come under their own steam, because you couldn't fund 400 artists coming, but you know, for the artists, it's about when they're here painting next to somebody new.
Yeah.
And there's been so many, I can give loads of examples where an artist has met somebody because they've been painting next to them at Upfest,
Yeah.
and then a year later they're collaborating on a project in a different part of the world.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's that sort of thing
Yeah.
that really, you know, is kind of like at the heart of it.
Yeah.
You know, our ethos as a festival is about inclusion.
Yeah.
And we run that through not just the artists, but like, you know, if people volunteer for the festival, which we have a major, like at the actual festival, we have about 80 volunteers.
Yeah.
And somebody comes to us, we try and find a role for them.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of what it's about. And like the festival itself, you know, we've kept it as a free event.
Yeah.
You know, admittedly, like it's out on the street. But we've kept all the venues kind of like free because we want it to be as accessible as possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yes, we've been tempted to stick like £5-10 ticket charges on and stuff, thinking about, oh, you know, how are we going to fund it this year? But actually, it's that, you know, you've got people coming from around the world and around the UK and from around Bristol as well, and people that wouldn't normally, I'm going to say the museum thing again, wouldn't normally take step inside a museum because it's not their thing.
Yeah.
But actually come in here and seeing a piece of artwork on the street that you have to engage with because it's there is kind of what it's about.
Yeah, good. I love that because it reminds me, you know, the same organization, you know, I've been affiliated with and should have a festival this weekend, WOMAD, and it's about that inclusion and creating a space and, you know, for example, it brings other culture up close and personal to other people.
Absolutely,
and it's just the same thing your, you know, fraternity is doing at the moment, you know. Yeah, man. And so, you know, people tend to like ask a question where you see, you know, Upfest going in the next 10 years. I don't really bother with that stuff, you know. I just ask what you would like for the future Upfest, you know, and that goes on a broad scale. It's an open question. You know?
I think, you know, that, like one of our issues is you know, the festival is growing exponentially. And you know, you can find with a lot of festivals that, especially like free ones, they get to a certain size and then they have real logistical issues in dealing with that number of people, and that ruins the festival because you know, and there's been examples of like festivals in Bristol where that's happened, where they've got to such a big size that actually they can't afford to be put on. So for us, it's about making, for the next sort of 5 years, it's about making the festival kind of like sustainable. And how are we going to do that sort of like long term, and how do we not you know, how do we not fall foul of creating too big a beast, basically. So we've got a really good core group of sort of board members, which is about 25, and we discuss all different scenarios about how we're gonna manage it sort of going forward, and sort of how regularly we do it as well, because you know, in normal times, you know, you finish the festival and a month later you're starting planning for the next year. And we also want to be creative doing other projects and different things. So, you know, like one of the things that we're considering is sort of doing it every other year, basically just giving us kind of time to do other creative stuff in between. Now that's not set in stone, but that's kind of one of the things that we're sort of, you know, considering. And then that should help us make it more sustainable as well, because you know, we can focus the year off on sort of raising money for the year that we do it and stuff.
Man. Okay, because you know, kind of shifting from the artistic side of Upfest, you know, I understand there's other projects, you know, Upfest engaging. If you want to touch on something a little bit, or
so
you know, I heard something more like the Six Sisters, or you know.
So you know, the Six Sisters is a mural project which has kind of been ongoing for about 5 years. Which is a row of where our shop is. We've got a row of 6 buildings, and we've been trying to kind of create a permanent installation for Bristol female artists, sort of giving them a voice and really kind of putting them in a position putting them in a position where they're inspiring other sort of, you know, other female artists to at least apply for the festival, and you know, so that we can get to an equal ratio on gender. So that project's been really, you know, really good, and we finally completed it a few months ago,
Yeah.
and the row of shops out, you know, the row of buildings, the row of murals outside,
Yeah.
you know, just kind of show what can be done. But I think sort of outside of that, we've like the last sort of 12 months, we've been painting quite a lot of hearts. You can look it up on the internet, but there's we've been painting socially distanced hearts to kind of make people feel comfortable in coming back to the city centre.
Yeah.
But then that's kind of moved on. We did rainbow hearts for Pride, we did a massive 120-metre heart for the Bloom Fiesta and stuff.
Yeah.
So things like that,
Yeah.
you know, are just kind of our team being sort of creative, and not just them focusing on the festival, actually doing
doing
other,
stuff,
doing other things which are which are enjoyable and
So not just the the whole artistic side. Understand there's a musical vibes to it, you know, towards the end. Enlighten me and the audience on that, because you know that's part of my forte.
Okay, I'm gonna have to admit here that I am very much a visual person.
Yeah.
So fortunately, we've got some great people, you know, and great people that work with us.
Yeah.
Dave Cridge of Tribe Steppers. He's been curating a number of our music stages for a number of years.
Yeah.
And this year was meant to sort of take an overall kind of responsibility for all the music around the areas.
Yeah.
But real mix of real change. You know, I can't just give you one sort of genre.
Yeah.
You know, so you could turn up in one of the parks and for a couple of hours you could be listening to drum and bass at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And then 2 hours later you're back on the reggae vibe, or you're kind of so. It's
an eclectic vibe.
It's really eclectic, and I think that's what I love. You know, sort of. It's not like, and we don't issue a timetable.
Yeah.
You know, so we don't say when people are playing.
Yeah.
You know, because most of the time they're late or whatever. But we don't issue that. We basically we put out a list of all the people, all the artists, the music artists, which are performing at the festival, and you've kind of got to guess where they're going to be and when. Which you know, and people just, you know, they're sitting there chilling. Like the festival is an arts festival, so people are there, they're chilling, they're watching the artwork being created and stuff, and the music is very much about sort of serenading the weekend. It's, you know, there's amazing, you know, there's other great music festivals that you can go to and stand in front of a stage and watch somebody. This is about having, you know, the right tunes in the right place to serenade the artist, to serenade the weekend. So that's the musical vibe. But that's pretty much as far as my knowledge goes. There's other people that deal with the music, because I don't know my.
That's it. You know where your strength lies.
I know where my strength is. Man.
Cool. Man.
Yeah.
I love that. You know, and also the fact it's like not just about even you as an organizer of an event, but the people who actually paint and come, you know, to the event and see the painters. It's like a give and receive kind of energy going on, and at the same time it's an escapism for the artists themselves, because I myself speak as an artist, and when you're on that stage, whether delivering lyrically or you're having a music at your fingertip controlling an audience, it's a freedom, you know. So.
And I think especially for kind of especially for, like, you know, the various street artists and that come to the festival, they don't often get that direct feedback from, you know, unlike somebody standing on a stage and being able to feel the crowd. Normally they're out painting a wall, and the only response they get is whatever they see on social, you know, on social media. The fact that they can be painting and they get a 3-year-old kid run up and go, "I love it," or you know, you get, you know, a 7-year-old granny come up and sort of go, "Oh, why did you paint it like that?" You know, like they get that direct feedback. So it's a bit like them having their own market stall and actually learning about the product that they're producing, you know, the thing they're producing. So for them, I think that's just as valuable, as well as the audience obviously gaining from what they're seeing.
Yeah, man, good. And for me personally, I've, you know, really love to see how the artwork has come a long way, because, you know, rewind a couple of years, you know, this was seen as vandalism and all kind of rah-rah and hoo-ha and all that jazz. But it's good to see, you say, Steve, why I say make this all happen? Communication. because I'm sure there's a part where the council might play a part in it, you know, with a okay, whichever way. The people of the community, yourself, it's just everybody coming together and communicating and, you know, just making this kind of stuff, you know, stuff happen, you know. And I say, fair play, man. And keep pressing the gas pedal, as my saying was saying. You can't let up, you know.
Thanks.
Yeah, man. And that's coming from, you know, the heart, for real, man.
Nice.
And because, you know, unlike many people like yourself, creative minds, you don't think about self. You look on a broader scale of things, you know.
You just got to do it, ain't you?
Yeah.
You just got to do it.
Put it this way, you invest in people.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
And I respect that. I respect that, man. So if anybody want to tune in or find anything about Upfest, plug your thing, man. Advertise it, you know.
You know, just search Upfest. You know, it's there, like, you know, Instagram Upfest, and you know, we got a website and stuff.
Yeah, okay, cool.
On our website, we did last year. We did a virtual festival where we recreated North Street in VR.
Yeah.
So you can actually go and access that through our website and see what we did. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a flavour without the actual people there, but you'll see kind of works on buildings and stuff, and and that. But upfest.co.uk, #Upfest. That's it, really. Yeah.
And then I'll, you know, check the description to people, you know. So yeah, whichever way you all can tune in. So much respect for your time and space, brother. And yeah, man, you got my support in many ways, and I'll, you know, plug what you're doing as much as I can, man.
Nice one.
Yeah, man.
Nice one.
It's all about building community.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So that was Steve from Upfest Festival, and stay tuned. Check the website, check the description for everything, people. And yeah, man, it's all good. As you know, Tunes and a Talk, just bringing you all the elements of the creative world, music, arts, and dance, strictly. Bless up. I'm just capturing a few of the graffiti works. So yeah, some great masterpieces. People being able to express their creativity and themselves through art. Yeah, man. And this is at the Upfest Art Festival in Bristol. This is another great piece. Yeah, man. Like I said, we've got some great artists out there. Yeah, heard that? Doop, 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 doop. Yeah. Here we have another piece. I think people sometimes donate walls. Here's another good little masterpiece. The biker chicks. Mr. Robot looking on. Yeah. Some good detailing. So yeah, it's another piece. Here's another one. And I love the sign underneath, creative space. Yeah. Cool. And we have this piece which is like an underwater reef area, coral reef area. Yeah. And then we merge into this little piece here. Yeah. Sailor guy checking out his chick, you know, making a lyrical toast. Yeah, man. And this is a really, really, really interesting one. Laugh now, but one day we'll be in charge. Yep. Don't even take that lightly. That can be interpreted in many ways. Yeah, man. And then we just slide on down to this. Really nice masterpiece. here we're coming up on Little Miss Sunshine. And that's a Little Miss Sunshine. Yeah. Nice little masterpiece. And here's a little interesting piece. Yeah. Yeah, man. All right, the signature artwork. So yeah, that's the artwork of the 6 sisters. Yeah, man. All female artists. Masterpiece. Yeah. Yeah, man. Much respect to Steve at the Upfest Festival. Yeah. Big up. Another artwork. Ain't no stopping us now. Yeah, man. Let's see. That's the artwork by Irony. The 2 pigeon birds. So, yeah. All right. We're coming up on another. Artwork. Another little masterpiece. And that's by the Ant Carver. Yeah. And this is another interesting piece. Yeah. Some great artwork. Yeah, this is another nice piece. But you know, always in the world of art, sometimes you get a bit of defacing. So yeah, man. Real skills. Yeah, and this is the work of Status in CN51. Spoke with him, and his piece is called Dream. And it's a 3-dimensional piece, and yeah, you definitely have to wear a 3D glasses to catch the full essence of it. And it's huge. It's a huge piece. Yeah, man. In CN51. Coming up on our next piece of work. And this is by Irony and Bo. Yeah. That's it, the seagull. Part of the Bristol Upfest Festival. It's all about the artwork. So yes. A symbolic piece. Lots of room for interpretations.
3D piece by Insane 51. Start this, yeah man. So you gotta have on your 3D glasses to get the full effect. And that's some serious skills right there. Yeah. To Seth's piece, but then we're gonna turn the focus to this one. Yeah. Alright, so another classic piece, and that's done by Victor. And we move from this one, go all the way down to Seth's piece. I spoke with this guy also. Didn't have my camera at the time, and they were glad to give an interview, but we just chat. And yeah, so as a little contribution to the whole WOMAD weekend, we're dealing with the art vibes, and much respect to Steve from Upfest and the team, and all the artists who contributed immensely to the Upfest Festival, which gives me a chance to help establish the world of art and yeah man, help create the tribute to the WOMAD entity. So yeah man, the visuals and the sound frequencies coming together, and the movements, the artwork.